get this all straightened out. So you have the banking with you?
Yep.
Okay.
I also sent it via email.
Okay.
I have my statement of my statement of claim, rough copy. I'll be going down to the courthouse and filing a claim against the 2 workers who called the police on me.
Okay. I don't know what happened. So
Are you the one who would be the supervisor for these 2?
No, I'm another case manager. I was just gonna review your case and then figure out what we can do to get you.
And I'd like someone
check.
assigned native. I'd like someone native assigned for me next time, if that's okay.
Okay.
And my complaints are within there, so if you could please pass that on to when you're done reviewing it or whatever, it's all there, my ID.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
Account information.
Okay.
The intent to rent is there.
Okay. Were you working previously? Or
no.
What are these mass pay things?
OnlyFans.
Okay. So is that going to continue to be an income?
No, I can't do it. It's too traumatizing.
Okay. Just because we'd have to deduct.
I'm supposed to be on WSIB and you're not touching my money. It's not enough to pay for my expenses. So you will not be touching my money. You don't give me enough money to survive, and that is like pennies.
Okay. Is this August? Where's August?
It's April to July, which was instructed by Eliza.
Okay. And you don't need these back, right?
No.
I can okay. So then you have a savings account, but there's nothing in that, okay? There's another savings
Yeah, there hasn't been
account.
anything in my savings for 2 years. I sold everything off to go leave this country to save my life, and
Okay.
I wasn't able to leave.
Okay, so then this is just ID, okay? And this is more ID, okay?
Permanent disability.
Okay.
I'm
So you're just waiting on WSIB?
Yeah,
Okay. You applied when?
a year ago, and I'm now suing them.
Okay. Were you denied or?
Yeah, ruthlessly, with no real good rationale. I used to adjudicate. I used to be an underwriter, and her rationale is the most disgusting thing I've ever read in my life. I have no idea what their problem is, but I have filed a lawsuit, and I've included that in my documentation with you guys, so you should have that.
Okay.
It's a very lengthy claim. I have provided I have all of my medical documentation, but it's not in there, but I do have it on a folder that I will be sending to you guys. But there's like 5 medical physician assessments with regards to my trauma, my active state of shock, and basically the marked impairment that I've now suffered from all of the abuse that I've experienced, and being homeless, living out of my car, and selling myself on the street to survive.
How long have you been doing that
for? For 5 years.
Okay. What happened?
And every single insurance company has denied me. So Manulife fought me into the ground. They fought me for 2 years while I suffered and nearly killed myself. Then WSIB has fought me, and the courts are now dealing with that. Now they're being dismissive and not looking at evidence, and so I'm looking at filing lawsuits against the judges, and the legislators are useless. So Justin Trudeau and Doug Ford, the attorney generals for both those parties, have been completely dismissive. They don't return my emails. They don't return my anything. They put me on a extreme, they've labeled me an extremist because I sued the legislators. And there's no reason why I should be labeled an extremist, but that's why I wasn't able to leave the country. I sold all my assets to move to Europe to save my life in 2021, and I was stopped at the border at the airport.
When you were going to Europe, you were stopped at the border?
Yeah, the plane would not let me on because my passport was blocked because I was labeled an extremist for suing the government for coronavirus, as well as the entire thing, basically, that's happened to me. So I've been in litigation for about 5 years now.
Okay. So where are you staying right now? You said there's an intent to rent in here. Can you show me where that is? I couldn't find it in there unless it's at the end.
It might just be in the email.
You're on third hopping.
Yes, I am. This is from my landlord here.
Okay, I see that. This is from a landlord?
Yeah. So this is her letter regarding my state, my current state, and she has basically saved my life. She found me as I was applying to be euthanized, and she basically encouraged me to move here, and she would take care of me, and she's done that. She's done an amazing job at keeping me grounded and keeping me positive.
Okay.
I still have no access to a doctor. All this trauma has gone untreated for 5 years.
Okay.
No access to a doctor, no access. I've been ripped off my hospital bed for asking for treatment.
Okay. I can print off some resources that we have available within our municipality if you'd like to reach out to them. Okay, perfect.
I'll exhaust all of them.
Also, so how much was she charging you?
Who?
Oh,
there is an actual letter. There's a lease, and there's an actual letter that says that I'm 10 months behind rent. So I'm 10 months behind. She usually charges $800 for that unit, but because I'm on social assistance, she's only charging me $500.
Okay.
And it's back. It's back. It's like, I want to know what you guys can do for my arrears, because last time I was on welfare when I was 16 years old, you helped me out with my arrears.
Okay.
Do you not do that anymore?
Do you have an eviction notice, or so here's the thing. So does she own the property, or is she another renter in the home?
No, she owns it.
Carrie does?
Yeah.
Has it been transferred to anybody in the last little while? Because
That's what been transferred.
like, is there co-owners? Because the owners we have are different than what. So we can set up a room and board.
It's her family.
Okay, so can she get something from the owners of the property, like her family?
Her brother?
Yeah, who's her brother? Do you know their name?
I don't know.
Okay. So yeah, if you can get something
They're
from...
all on there because it makes their payments lower or something.
Yeah, and that's fine. We just, in order for Ontario Works to be able to issue for rent, we have to have something from the owner. So if she can contact her family and just say, hey, look, Erin's paying this much to help with the rent, then we can issue rent. Otherwise, it would be a room and board situation. So if you're paying another renter that doesn't own the home,
you're making assumptions.
we can set up room and board.
You're making assumptions based on reading something that you're not even part of. So I don't appreciate people who make assumptions based on...
No, I'm not making any assumptions.
Well, you are. You're
we
looking
have
at...
a way of looking up.
But you're not allowed to do that.
We do. We have
that
the
is
right.
actually using false information, and it's actually an assumption, and you're now choosing to change my story and my existence and tell me, you speak for me and tell me that I'm not actually paying rent now because you don't see this person as the owner.
No, I'm not saying that. No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Well, you're not going to make any changes to it.
So when you sign off on a consent...
I have a rent receipt that's coming.
Okay.
Whether
I understand that.
You do?
I do. And I understand that you're required to pay rent. That's not the issue. So I'm saying if she can ask her family...
For what?
For
This
a rent...
is hoops. These are circus hoops. Nobody deserves to go through these circus hoops.
Okay, so when you signed your general consent form, that allows us to be able to contact the landlord, and it allows us to be able
and
to
I'm
run
suing you guys for
insurance
all of this bullshit, because it's bullshit.
We have to determine your eligibility.
Your
right?
eligibility?
To determine whether
Are you
or
an
not-
underwriter? Do you grant loans? Do you have any experience in finance? What did you go to school for?
So
What did you go to school for?
social service worker.
Social service work? So that is not an underwriter. That is not financial, that's not even, you have no idea what you're doing.
Okay, I understand that. So if you can get something from her or the other owner, just saying that you're required to pay rent, otherwise we can issue room and board. So it would be like a...
I need my money today.
Okay, so...
And I'm not coming in here for another stack of shit that you want from me.
Okay, so
That's
that's
ridiculous.
why I'm trying to review it all now so that we can get it all sorted out so that you can get your funds.
Hi.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Does she need something?
No.
Well, she's staring.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I was just seeing because the conversation's escalating. So it's just...
Well, does she call for you? I'm autistic, and I'm agitated, and I'm traumatized, and I'm allowed to yell because I'm angry, and this office has abused me. And you're nosy. What's your point? What's your role?
I'm one of the managers here.
What's your name?
Sherry Lacasse?
Sherry?
Yes.
Have you received any of my documentation? Have you received any of my letters? Have you received my complaints? I'm suing 2 of your agents here. Would you like to be another one? For treating me like a threat.
How can we help today?
I need my money.
Okay.
I want people to stop coming up with new circus hoops to jump through.
So I'm gonna work with you to try to get your funds. There's a couple consent forms I have you to sign off on, which we can review, and then I'm gonna review your banking, and as long as, again, everything's good, I'm just trying to explain the rent and room and board situation. So as of right now...
Have you ever lived off $744? You know how difficult you're being for less than enough to survive?
I'm not trying to be difficult.
You are. You are. Do you know how it is? It's gone within the first week. Do you know what it's like to live with less than enough to survive?
I understand.
You give me less than enough to survive.
I understand.
And you're making it difficult. You're making it difficult to get less than enough to survive.
Erin,
It's murderous.
she doesn't choose the rates.
Yeah, well, she's making it difficult. She's going through stuff like it's going to make a difference.
Okay. Well, she's...
I'm just-
What difference is it going to make with you putting a yes on that? What do you think, you're going to get fired for giving someone less than enough to survive?
No.
What's going to happen to you for giving me my money?
No, I'm just trying to explain to you that if it is rent, if you can talk to
Again,
Carrie
again,
and get her to get the owners.
That's unnecessary.
Okay.
It's in the family. The house is owned by the family. She owns the family. She's the one that pays the mortgage. You are making assumptions based on something that you read, and the ownership has nothing to do with the person who's maintaining the mortgage.
So get Carrie to get a letter from her family.
No, I think that is coercive.
Or we can issue room and
No,
board.
you're telling me that you won't give me money unless what? You won't give me money unless I get someone from her family to issue something? I'm not going to ask her for that. I think it's ridiculous,
Okay.
absolutely unacceptable, and I'll add that to the lawsuit. This is coercive. You're going to tell me that I don't deserve and less than enough to
I'm
survive
not saying that.
because I don't want to get you some stupid ass letter. I've already given you 2 letters.
Okay.
One that's you haven't even read the whole fucking thing. I've given you a lease and I've given you a rent that's 10 months behind.
Okay, so I was just trying to explain that Carrie doesn't come up as the owner.
Carrie
so
is
if-
the owner, and you're making assumptions.
Okay.
You don't live there. You're not in the family. You're not there, and you don't know what you're doing.
Okay, so we'll move past that. Is there any other information? Can we get the consent signed so that we...
And when am I getting my check? Is there a button you can press? Because I didn't deserve to lose that money. Your staff made assumptions and decided to punish me and cause me to suffer. And do they do that on a regular basis? And do they all take off the month end for vacation and leave no one to take care of the file?
There were...
Sadistic.
Okay.
So you have direct deposit, so we can either, I'm giving you the option, we can either let it go into your account tomorrow, or I can print off a check.
Print it off today.
Okay. So there's a couple more consent forms I have to get you to sign.
Sure.
And we can review those.
And I'm not even going to be on this for long. I'm waiting for WSIB
Okay.
or ODSB. I've already promised you guys your money back. You guys should not be difficult. I'm not even going to be on the system for long.
Okay,
But thank God I am.
that's great. And Amy's going to explain the supports that we have available while you are on the system and to hopefully assist you exit the
Great.
program.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And I'm going to sue it while I'm here
Okay.
to make sure that I protect all these other people from this behavior. This bullshit. You guys are not underwriters. I worked for CIBC. I underwrote loans for $1.5 million. I worked at Stantec as a global design firm and budgeted $1.5 million parks. Like,
Okay.
you guys have no financial experience? Social service work? What did you learn in that? Did you even get an accounting course?
So she has the rights and responsibilities she'll explain. And
Have you ever lived off $744?
And then we can look at...
Have you ever lived off $744? Is it genocidal to you? Do you think this is genocidal? Because I think it's genocidal. Can I get your opinion?
Well, again...
Is this service genocidal? As in, so classist that it gives less than enough to survive and forces people into shitty situations.
Aaron,
Do you know people on welfare? Do you know people on welfare that are stuck on this shit? They basically spend their whole check on drugs because they can only afford one necessity, and that one service, that one drug, like if they buy whatever their poison is, that gives them shelter, no appetite, and sort of an escape. Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna rent? Well, there's no food after that. You know what I mean? You guys are forcing people into situations where they're self-destructing. You're being difficult with them. And are you able to sleep at night?
We think then you should go to the legal clinic and appeal the decision because we can change the rates.
No, I am going to do that just fine. I don't need...
Great.
But I'm asking you for your opinions because it matters.
Do
Do you guys feel...
don't
How long have you been working here for? Like, can you sleep at night? Do you know these people are suffering? Where's your complaint? Why aren't you complaining? Why aren't you writing a letter? You see these people like day in and day out.
Okay, well today, Amy's
Why am I
trying to
doing
do
it?
the best you can to talk about how you can get any medications covered, if there's any other benefits.
Yeah,
that you need.
my medication is very expensive.
Okay, and she's gonna explain on prior rights and
You
responsibilities.
guys cover cannabis?
I'm not too sure.
Sure,
It's
okay.
under the ODB, but Amy's gonna try to explain
Great.
that to you to assist you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Eric.
Okay, so this one is our electronic communication form. So I don't know if you use email to communicate on a regular basis.
Yes.
But it allows us to be able to communicate with you via email. You understand that obviously there's risks involved if we're ever hacked, your information.
I've got
could get
nothing
out.
to take.
No, I'm just saying don't share like your SIN number or
Yeah,
anything like that in an email just in case.
They wouldn't be able to open up anything anyway.
We can only respond between the hours of 8:30 and 4:30 Monday to Friday. It's just used to set up appointment dates, verify information, that kind of thing. So then if you want to fill in the email.
Which email? My email that you would like to email me through?
Yeah, is it the AMOD sign? Okay, yeah. I wasn't sure if that was still correct or not. And then your number as well.
My phone's cut off right now
Okay, okay.
because I can pay the parent. Because you don't give me enough to survive.
I can fill in the member ID. I just need the email address right
And
underneath.
that's supposed to be
There.
There. So,
Yeah, okay.
sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay.
457.
I just need another pen.
This is my member ID.
It's 315
Mhm.
633 437.
I encourage you to write a letter to your member of parliament since you are the front end and tell them how you feel.
And I don't disagree. It's just I am in a position where I don't get the decision to make.
But you do have a
rates.
voice,
And I have
and you're
said
at the front end,
I have
and
tried, but again, my voice goes unheard because I'm just a
I don't know my postal code.
P6C 4M3.
4M3.
But again, I understand. I get it. It's just
How do you work here?
kind of my hands are tied.
How much do you get paid? Do you get paid so well that you can't leave and find another job?
I like what I do. I like helping people.
Do you really help them?
Yes.
You really help them with less than enough to survive? You think you're helping?
I help them in other ways. Like there's a lot of people that don't have supports, so they come to me for assistance for supports, and I feel that yes, I am helping them. They have said to me, my clients have said to me that yes, I do help them. So in my
Some of them are so unaware of their strength and
I know, and I try to bring that out in them to help them see, and that's kind of what the reason why I do what I do is to help people see the things they don't see in themselves and to help them build on that to get to a better place. That's why I do what I do. I don't deal with financials. I don't do it for that reason at all. And I do agree with you that it is awful that people have to live off that.
it's genocidal.
I do understand
it's
that, especially
murderous.
when people have lost jobs, people have been in situations they can't control. I do understand that. I completely agree.
They get trapped in abusive relationships.
Exactly, and they can't get out, and they're stuck for financial reasons, and that's the only reason people stay. Like, I completely agree.
Yeah,
It is awful, and
they're dropping like flies.
exactly.
Do you know? Is there anybody that tracks the amount of people that kill themselves on welfare?
I wish there was, because maybe that being sent to Parliament or something would make a difference.
How many people do you recognize losing? How many people just drop off and just don't come back? Do you notice? Is it noticeable?
Yeah. I keep track of my clients. I like to know where they are and what's happening, and I check in on them on a regular because I care. I give a shit. And that's why I do it.
Well, you're good.
And I understand. I've
And
been
do you
in a
know that
spot.
there are people in this office that are quite antisocial and probably enjoy hurting people and get off on the power that they have over the weak and vulnerable?
And that's unfortunate. I really hope that we don't hire those people. But
Yeah.
I do agree. Like, it's unfortunate that there are people in
Well, it's the
the
same
world
as
like
the police
that.
service. You
Just
know,
like,
that
I
people
know.
get into the police service because they're addicted to power, and it's the same situation here. You know, you see a group of vulnerable people that you can,
And that's why
reign over.
That's why I'm saying I'm not trying to do anything to, like, I want to get you the most help that we can get you. It's just there are some red tape lines that I have to follow, and that's the only thing I was
Says
trying
who?
to state. So again, I am the most lenient person, but at the same time, I just have to follow the legislation. Otherwise, it comes back on us as why did you do this and not that?
What do they do?
We've
Have you ever just said fuck it?
sometimes.
You know, when I used to work at the bank, I used to approve everything that I could. And I used to just basically...
If it's helping someone, I'm all for it.
I hated the bank.
Yeah.
And I used to just, you're approved. I was the yes guy. I worked in credit. I was the guy that the bank would call and be like, is my loan approved?
Mm-hmm.
And with all the rich guys, I combed through their shit really well. The ones that on their fifth home, buying, they've got...
Sometimes it's not good though. Like if you're in too much debt.
No, they're
but
the
if
highest
they can
risk.
afford it, then great.
They're the highest risk clients, but the bank wants them to be approved. They want them all approved, and they want all of the ones that are really good people and have done everything that they can to save what they needed for whatever purchase. Most of them are mortgages, with those loans, and I can tell that somebody has worked very hard to get to this point. And yeah, sometimes, you're like, oh, it's a little bit risky. But you know what? I'm more comfortable approving that one than the guy that's got 5 properties, 6 things in his wife's name. They're all delinquent. He's used his wife as basically as a way to basically write off shit. And I'm like, it stinks like fraud. And, the bank still wants me to go through those and approve those first. And so it's like, well, they would pull me into the boardroom, and I had the best customer service, and I'm like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You're gonna write me up for what? For having the best customer service?
Exactly.
For having the best people respond? For having the branch praise me every time they talk to me?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly? What complaints are you getting exactly?
Yeah.
How are you going to structure that? Because I don't agree with what you're writing. And I think what you're writing here and what you're asking me to do is abusive, and so I'm not signing it. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do any more abusive work. And what are you going to do? You're going to fire me? You really going to fire me because I want to abuse people? Okay. Let's get that on writing.
I get what you're saying, because sometimes, like, the legislation of certain companies holds you back from being able to do the things that you want to do to help someone, and I totally get that. And it sucks because, my job is kind of, I need to pay the roof over my head. So, like...
But there's lots of jobs.
Well...
You haven't...
But I totally understand.
But, like, how much are you paid here? Is it really, really well? What do they pay people here? Because there's lifers. There's one girl who's been here for 20 years. It's the only job she's ever had. I'm like, what life experience do you have to be dealing with this? People need, in order to be working here, you need to have lived experience with certain things. You can't just be like fresh off the boat at a school with no other experience, spoiled rotten your entire life, and this is your only position, and
And I'm not, again,
and she was the one that was abusive to me. So I'm
not
saying
making assumptions about anybody else, because I know people have been through things that they're not disclosing to other people. I've talked to a lot of people here that have been through some hard, like, again, I try really hard not to make assumptions based on the way someone is, because a lot of the times there's a reason they are the way they are, and
you're not allowed to take your personal problems into work. If somebody has been if she's not healed and she hasn't gone through therapy and gotten through that shit, there's no excuse for her to bring any trauma that she is currently going through and take it out on me.
I'm not saying that. I'm not thinking that I don't know
what
you're referring to, but like
the only assumptions I'm making on Eliza and Aaron are the fact that they did not handle my trauma. They didn't acknowledge my trauma. They just skirted around it the entire time, and they continued to abuse me and discredit me, and then they ignored me and gaslit me and dismissed all my trauma, and then they ghosted me, and then called the police on me, and I was like, you're trauma informed? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm autistic and native, and I'm like a double whammy. I'm like, that is like, the police are the most abusive people in my life. And it's like, okay, so you wanna call the most abusive people and have them come to my house because what? Because I'm holding you accountable to your job?
Yeah, I can't speak to that, but
no, you don't have to speak to anything. I don't.
Okay.
I'm not asking you to agree or to get your colleagues in trouble. I'm telling you my experience, and I'm telling you that I'm at the point now where I don't want to meet another antisocial person in social services. You're not, if you're antisocial, if you're sociopathic, you're not physically fit for this job. You're not physically qualified. Your brain cannot associate to somebody else's feelings. And if your job is day in, day out to deal with other people's feelings in social services, and you can't understand, you can't fake it. Your brain does not work that way. And if these people are totally antisocial, there's no one that I have met with empathy that would treat me the way that they have. Trauma-informed especially, with that especially. They basically looked at everything that they could use against me, all the things not to do, and used those to cause harm, specifically. And then they ghosted me and like literally disappeared and acted like I wasn't somebody that existed. And they did not respond to any of my issues, not one of my complaints. They didn't acknowledge a single trauma, nothing. Literally, I was like, so what did they train you? Do they train you to just look at suffering and like what do you see when you see these emails that I'm sending you about all the shit that I've told you a fraction of what I've gone through, about the same fraction I gave them, and they had no response, no acknowledgement, no response, no I'm sorry, no nothing, as in they looked at it and changed the conversation and made it about what they wanted again. And they had no interaction with me on anything that I needed. And I'm just like, I don't want to deal with you.
Was this an email?
Yeah, it's all been writing. I've got it all.
So sometimes it is harder.
No, it is
email.
no excuses.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm not antisocial. I have the biggest heart.
just-
I'm the most empathetic person I know because I've been through so much hell that I've walked through so many shoes.
Yeah.
And people come to me. People literally can see
Yeah.
the comforting demeanor that I have, not right now because I'm really pissed off,
No,
but
I
normally
get it.
I am I'm the shoulder that everybody cries on.
Yeah.
And I don't judge anybody, and I have never acted like that in my entire life. I've never done what they've done. I don't even know how to. I could never forgive myself for doing what they do. So
And I don't think that was the intention.
you know what? You can't
I just
turn it on and off. You know,
No, I know.
intention is supposed to be on all the time. People who turn their empathy on and off are faking it. That's not real. I have empathy for my rapists because I have empathy. And that means I look at their monsters as well, and I think about, okay, yeah, you know what, someone fucked up them as well, and that's why they're like that. And I think about that, and I worry about them, and I think about, oh my God, the people that harm me, I have empathy for. They're not going to feel that way.
And I can tell you from Erin is one of the most amazing, and you can take
People
this
treat
if
each
you
other
want, but,
differently.
like,
So you're a white
She
girl.
has always been
But
there
you're a
for her
white-
clients and always been very empathetic. So
I literally turned around and turned it around and turned it around like 4 or 5 times. Where is your acknowledgement? Are you sure you're trauma informed? What did they train you? And she couldn't answer anything. She was so deer in the headlights. No, she's not used to someone like me. Maybe she's used to people who are so oppressed and defeated that that's an easy client. Sure, she can be there for them. They're not the ones. They're not barking at them and holding them accountable to their position and telling them that they're individually responsible for their genocidal behavior. Because this is
like,
all.
I don't have control over that, so I don't.
But you choose to work here, and you choose to regulate it, and you choose to do this work, and therefore, did the Nazis in Germany? Because I'm native. This is all stolen land. You know how many of us are native on here? Most of us are fucking native. This is stolen land. This is genocidal. You give us less. You take our resources and give us less than enough to survive. We are on active concentration camps, and you ask yourself what your position is then. You think the Germans are just gonna? You think the Germans could just be like, oh, I was working, I just doing as I was told? No. Since United Nations, since that court, you guys all have individual responsibility. You can't pass the blame onto your managers anymore. Since the Jews got through the Germans, and took them 40, 50 years. People are getting sued into the 80s. You don't think we're gonna do that?
I know, right? I know it needs to change. The government.
Yeah, you just pass the blame.
You can't. I can't. I don't have control.
What are you gonna do?
I can't go to Trudeau and
Why not?
What do you want me to do?
Well, I am.
Well, I mean, yeah.
Who are you more scared of? How people are going to remember you? How you're going to be, remembered as the, sympathizer, the Nazi sympathizer, the Nazi do as you're told?
That's not our goal.
Because we are in active invasion.
That's why we try to
and
help. Based
Trudeau
on
is a
what
Nazi.
We can help with.
You're scared to go up to the Nazi and say, "Stop doing this, Nazi." Like what?
No, but I don't have the means or resources to go and do that.
Do you think I do? I'm literally homeless on welfare. I've sold all my resources, and they stopped me at the border from leaving. You think I'm gonna stop? Well, it's either that or die. Like I've applied to be euthanized because of this country, because of this active invasion, because of the way my family and myself have been treated.
Are
My mother
you from the Sioux or no?
No.
Okay.
No, but I'm from the Georgian Bay.
Okay.
Like my family is like Brit. You know where that is?
No.
Sudbury.
Oh, okay, yeah, in that area. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm Ojibwe. My mom's not white passing. I am thanks to my dad. And I saw my mother go through a lot of racial profiling my entire life. And I was thrown through the Children's Aid Society, and they tried to rip me away from her because I'm white and she's not. And they basically, the police interrogated her every chance they got.
Is she still?
No, she's completely terrorized. Like, she's afraid of everything.
Is she still in Georgian Bay? Sorry.
She's in London now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But
do you get to see her, talk to her?
no, since the court cases, they intimidated all my witnesses, which included my mother, and they went to my mother and said that I was being investigated for something, and that they would have her as accomplice if she talked to me. That was like 2 or 3 years ago. But she's starting to finally realize that there's nothing really investigating, that they just kind of lied. They do that. Private investigators will basically say anything to destroy a witness. I didn't think they would, and I didn't know that they would threaten my mother with homelessness and kick her out of, and threaten criminal charges out of nothing. But they treated me like a criminal. They treated me like a fucking terrorist, basically. For nothing. And there's nothing on record. Yeah. And if there was something on record, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be in jail. Yeah.
So it's all dropped then, like these things that were happening 2 years ago? Like they just kind of let it go? It's all good?
It was all fake.
Oh, okay.
They just used fake... Well, I don't know about my passport, to be honest. I don't know if I can leave the country.
Okay. So you're in Sault Ste. Marie for a bit. And so you do have a support person here, that Carrie, which is good.
Yeah.
So you do have family and friends here, kind of?
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I do.
Okay, good. All right.
But
so,
they destroyed everybody that I knew.
Yeah.
And it was really... My first claim had about 7 people as witnesses, and they all got wiped out within the month, right before Christmas. It was right after I submitted it. And I had another handful of witnesses, and I waited a couple months, like February, and I submitted those. And then a month later, all of them would be like, "Oh, I'm sick, I can't talk to you," and they just disappeared from my life. And I was like, isn't that ironic, that they would be so... I didn't think they would be so brave to do it so obviously. Like to have 7 and then 6 witnesses drop off within the first 2 weeks of submitting my claim, all in the same fashion, and then one of them came to me and told me, which is why I know, is that somebody came to his house and was like, he's being investigated for things that we can't disclose, but we just want to let you know that if you continue associating with him, then you'll be labeled as an accomplice. And so they basically threatened all of these people with criminal, and they watched me completely get destroyed.
Well, yeah, that's enough to destroy anybody.
They've destroyed me. The government, since I sued Trudeau 5 years ago, has destroyed me. Like, I've lost everything, and I've lost my family, I've lost my friends, I've lost all of my resources. I used to be designing parks. Justin Trudeau was my client. I was his gardener. I literally designed for...
In Georgian Bay or somewhere?
No, in Ottawa.
Okay.
I worked in Ottawa.
You were in Ottawa. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was in Ottawa for like 2 years.
Okay.
And I was working at Stantec, and I worked on Harrington Lake. I have I have huge skills. I shouldn't be in this position.
No. And it's temporary.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
I just need to get better. I need my healing. I need to get better. I need to finish these lawsuits.
Okay.
And
so what I'll do then, we'll get these forms signed. I'll bring this to. You said you wanted this to go to the manager.
All of this.
Okay. And then.
This is my complaint there.
Okay. Okay.
You can type all of that.
And then the WSIB claim, you said you applied 2 years ago and you're just waiting. You're appealing it. You're waiting to hear back.
I applied to welfare and WSIB last year in July.
Okay.
Welfare was like, you have WSIB to exhaust, and so I should have gone on Ontario Works then. I should have just stayed on Ontario Works. I should have gone through the application last year, and I should have just waited with some income until they, and basically, WSIB has been it took like 8 months to adjudicate the first time. they're being sued for a good reason. You know,
Okay.
you should see their claim.
Okay.
I have like, you know.
So you were on WSIB and it exhausted last year?
No. They
I thought you said it
denied.
exhausted.
I exhausted their adjudication process.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
this girl Danielle has no medical training. She has she has no experience adjudicating whatsoever.
Okay.
She's like basically following this. She's basically just doing as she's told, and there's absolutely there's nothing in her rationale that is equal to what I've used to prove my case. So, you know, there's adjudication. So basically, the adjudicator is not the decider. They are there to take the information, and if I've provided a great deal of medical and professional opinion, she's not a professional doctor to be able to trump the medical documentation. She can take their doctor's review and do things like that, but she's basically speaking for my illness. She's speaking outside of her her skill set. Like, she's not able to speak to my disability, she's not able to speak to my health, and she has made all these conclusions in her rationale that show that she's basically unaware of what an adjudication process is, which is she's supposed to take the opinions of others and find a fair balance between the two. She's not
legislation too, probably.
And she's not supposed to be like making advice opinions, or she's not supposed to be like doing the professional work.
Have you ever applied for ODSP? Like, have you ever considered applying for ODSP?
I'm supposed to be doing that now.
Okay. Do you want me to print the paperwork
great.
as well? Okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
So then, do you have a family? You don't have a family
Do I get
doctor?
YMCA? Do I get benefits? What are the drug plan? Those are the questions I have too.
Okay, we can talk about that too. You said you don't have a doctor here, correct?
No, I don't. I need one.
Okay, so we can refer you to Dr. McLean.
He hasn't called me back.
Okay, I can give you their location too.
Yeah.
Try to go there. I'll give you her phone number again and email.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm gonna do the ODSP paperwork. I'm gonna do.
Can you call them and tell them that there's somebody that urgently needs to speak to you?
Yeah, I can tell.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I can connect you with them.
That'd be wonderful.
ODSP. What was the other thing I needed? You asked for something else. The resources for counseling.
Yeah.
And then do you have a bus pass, or how do you get around?
I would like a bus pass if you provide
because then that's
those.
not coming out of your check, so that's good. Okay.
But I don't go very far.
That's okay. Just at least you have it.
But it would be nice.
Yeah. Okay. One less expense that you have to pay for. So then that's our interdepartmental consent. So if you wanted to apply for subsidized housing, it allows us to communicate with them.
I will never
In
live in
terms
one
of-
of your shelters.
Oh, it's like for subsidized housing. Like, so you pay like.
My mom lives in one.
Oh, okay.
And she's not protected, and she has. Both her and I look like very vulnerable, easy, good-looking prey. Like, I look like a very cute, easy to take advantage of, and both me and her have that sort of bubbly. Like, I'm usually quite innocent looking. Like, I don't usually have this big, aggressiveness on me. I'm usually quite soft-spoken and quite gentle, and I'm the first targeted in any situation like that. And so she's been targeted many, many times as well.
Okay.
And they do nothing to help her. She's had to beg them to have a relocation, and they refuse to do it. And she's terrorized all the time in that shelter.
That's unfortunate.
It is extremely unfortunate. And they target her because she looks easy and she's beautiful, and she's not. Trust me, she's like me. We're both basically been circled our entire life, and we've survived this long, not because we're fucking sweet,
And I can understand.
But
like, you need to survive.
it makes it harder. Last time she defended herself, she got her tire slashed.
Oh no, that's it.
Her
That's
windows
gross.
broken, and keyed her car, and they
That's
fucking
horrible.
retaliated after she stood up for herself. So she's scared to stand up for herself now, because she doesn't want to lose her car. She can't afford to replace the tires.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And so she's trapped in this hellhole. And I've been there many times, and there's people doing drugs all over the place. There's criminals getting busting through the door, breaking the glass doors. There's predators coming through, sexual predators coming through all the time. There's people getting raped in those buildings all the time. So yeah, no, it's not pleasant. I would rather live in the park than one of these subsidized housing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get
It's
in there
unfortunate.
anyway. Subsidized housing. It's a single male.
is a
Like 7
list.
years. I would be like.
I
on my
know.
own.
It's again so unfortunate, but I know.
Is it unfortunate? Or is it just murderous? Is it unfortunate? I think you're just underestimating.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's a bit of an understatement there, sweetheart.
Maybe.
It is murderous. So think of it as like an oxygen tank. Do these people have enough oxygen to live? No. And so if they don't have enough oxygen to live, what happens? Well, they're suffering, and most of them bang their heads against the wall until they die.
'Cause
So
I know,
yeah,
they're
so
stuck and
the
can't
government
move.
can wash their hands. They don't even have to
I
kill
know.
them. They can just suffocate them enough till they take themselves out,
I know. It's
and that is
awful. I know.
genocide. It is genocide. It's classist, classism based genocide. And I faced that kind of genocide. I faced genocide for my autism. I faced genocide for being Native. I have faced genocide my entire life. And you know, it's not unfortunate. It's something that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry that you've had to go through all of that. Like, that is not something that someone should ever have to go through. So,
Well, maybe you'll sign my petition that comes out.
sorry. So I'll review it with you.
Okay.
Okay. So part A is your right. So any decision we make on your file, you're required to get that decision in writing. So we'll mail you a letter. You have 30 days to request an internal review, and the letter will explain how to do that. So for
Yeah, I
example,
know how to do all that.
Okay. Part B is your assistance, the things you're entitled to. So there is drug coverage as long as it's covered under our ODB plan. Participation benefits, there's vision care, special diets if you had any.
I do.
Okay, so what I'll do then too.
I have it, but I need a doctor.
Yeah.
I just
So
have a
then-
gallbladder. I just
I
have
can
gallstones.
Okay, I can print a form, and then if
I
you
have
can
one.
get Dr. McLean to
He
sign
needs
it.
to call me back.
Okay, I'll contact them and
Please
see
do.
if there's an appointment. You have a number. I know it's out right now, but when you get money, will you have your phone number back?
I hope so.
So then I'll call them. I'll try to get an appointment booked. Then I can call you back and get you.
Or email me.
number. Or email you. Yeah, whatever
Yeah,
works.
that'd be awesome.
Okay, email. Okay.
Mhm.
So then part C is your responsibilities. So you are required to meet with your worker every 3 months just to do a participation agreement. Every 2 years to do a financial review, just to ensure we're issuing the correct amount of
I'm
funds.
fine. Yeah.
So then keep your receipts for things for up to a year because you
Issuing
could
the
ask
right
for
amount of
them.
funds.
I know. It's I
Don't
use
worry,
the wrong- I use the wrong words.
I'm gonna fix this. Trust me. Like
I hope someone does. I truly hope someone
fixed the
does.
student loan department. Like there has been success. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's just
Yeah.
too conservative for my liking, and
It's and everything keeps going up, and except these.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it hasn't been able to keep up with that either.
And rent is $2,000 a month
yeah,
minimum. So
yeah.
how do you expect people? I get.
No,
Trust
it's,
me.
yeah.
So so any bank account statements, anything like that. So you have an obligation to pursue all sources of income. Did you file your income taxes?
I'm not working, and I won't be pursuing income because I'm disabled, and I'm looking.
No,
for
that's fine, and we're gonna go
or
ODSP. That's
WCID.
fine. Yep. Just sorry. Did you file income taxes for last year? Because you
Nope,
could be eligible
and I won't
for.
be doing my taxes either.
Okay.
And the
Can I
reason
ask
why,
them?
yeah, of
Okay.
course, because when I ended up homeless in 2018, after I sued the government and the student loan department for not being able to issue me a repayment assistance program, I was denied every single resource that is supposed to be paid for by my taxes. I was not provided. The legislators ignored me. I basically ended up living out of my car for 2 years.
This was in
selling myself.
2018 or
This is 2018,
2018?
which is when I stopped paying my taxes.
Stop filing. Okay.
Stop filing and
Paying.
paying, and
Okay.
even as I've gone
Okay.
on a tax strike. And
Okay.
so they don't deserve my money because I'm not receiving a single service that is provided by them. I don't get a doctor. I don't
I'm
get
saying you could get money from them.
What money?
For GST, Trillium, you could get those benefits.
Yeah, right. Like
There was
that's
climate
gonna,
incentives that went
like,
out.
come on, that's not gonna make a difference.
It's an extra $100.
Yeah. But it's also,
And you could get back pay for all the years that you got. So 2019,
no, I haven't not paid them
2021,
anything.
22.
I want my disability tax credit. So I want my disability tax credit since the first day I started work in 2001, and they go back 10 years apparently. So that's bullshit.
Okay.
So I'm going to be asking for my disability tax credit. So that would be a better,
Yeah.
payback than whatever they're trying
I'm
to
just
pretend.
saying there could be an option of some funds there if then.
Yeah, it wouldn't make a difference.
Okay, just saying.
For sure.
It's up to you, but just saying it could be an option. Okay, so then,
Yeah, I mean, the lawsuit's going to be a better option.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be...
I know. Just in the meantime, that's all I was trying to say.
I have
If-
one...
Okay. So then report all your assets. So if you purchase any vehicles, life insurance policies, anything like that, any properties, we just need to be aware of if you open or close a bank account. We just need to ensure it doesn't go over the asset limit of $10,000 for
Sold
a
everything.
12-month period. So even if you were gifting money or like the OnlyFans or anything like that, if it goes over the $10,000,
Yeah.
we just have to look at it as income in the month it's received.
Sure.
Just so you know,
And
I'm just telling you.
Yeah.
So then you have an obligation to pay back any overpayments you occur, even if you exit Ontario Works, which I don't think you have. So let's keep it that
Maximum
way
allowed asset 10,000.
for a
Isn't that
12-month
cute, eh?
period.
Isn't that cute? Have you ever lived off that?
10,000 in a year,
Yeah.
maybe when I was a child.
Yeah. You sure?
Yeah, I made $6 an hour.
Oh, but
My
you still
first
had
job.
like other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. Not a good comparison.
I know.
Yeah.
Not the same, I know, but I'm just saying. So then if you agree, you'll sign there.
I don't agree, but I'm gonna put my name here.
Okay. I mean, just agree to that I reviewed the consent
Sure.
with you. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But
So
I'm,
then,
I'm literally in my statement of claim with welfare is literally I'm saying that all of that is
I know.
is criminal and
and I hope it does go
I'm
somewhere.
I will change things. Trust me.
So, okay, I'll get the ODSP forms.
I've changed a lot. I'm the reason why Corona ended. So I filed a class action lawsuit for the entire population of the Commonwealth in like a few months before it all went. You remember when Ireland was just like it's over,
Yeah.
and then it just kind of like a domino effect.
Yeah.
Well, I sued the Queen and the entire Commonwealth, and I filed a global class action, and I started a petition,
Mm-hmm.
and I was asking for signatures and across the Commonwealth. I was up to like 1,600 signatures, and I was getting ready to file lawsuits in
Yeah.
these countries
Yeah.
with the help of these people in each country. They were going to do it with me,
Yeah.
and then the Queen sent the army and basically was working on something. They were like throwing everything possible at me, like everything they could find to try and criminalize me, and I was under so much, like, I've never had so many things coming at me at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I applied to be euthanized. That's when I applied, and I put down her and the justice that she stands by, the so-called justice,
Yeah.
as my disease, and that I sent it out to 180 defendants, and then it stopped. She stopped attacking. She stopped investigating, and a couple like that was in February. What was like?
Oh, of this year.
No, February
Oh.
20.
Oh.
When did the Corona? 2021, right?
21. Yeah.
So
Well,
February-
2020 it started, and then
Filed
I
it in
feel like
Jan.
it went into 2022 though.
Yeah, but nothing like it wasn't like the.
There kept coming strands.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the lockdown.
Oh, right,
and,
right, yeah.
You know.
The lockdown kind of ended in 2020.
Yeah.
End of 2021.
March.
Ish.
Yeah, it was, yeah.
Okay.
So that was, and I wasn't ending the pandemic. I was ending
Yeah.
their, like I was one of the first to get it, so I was one of the first people to be like alarming people. I was like, I was just getting off the airport. I just got back from Spain and Portugal, and the whole airport, like it was like the last time you'll ever see a plane full of sick people, I think.
That's
But like,
unreal. I can't imagine.
we were all just like, flu of the century. This is the flu of the century. And so I said, Mom, don't come to the airport. You stay home. I self-isolated. I did like what I was supposed to do, what everybody is supposed to do.
Yeah.
And then I went to the hospital and I was like, you should maybe take a sample of this. I think this is going to be a really big one. And they just ignored me and they called me crazy. And then 3 months later, we're under lockdown.
Yeah.
And how they managed it was, they didn't give any treatment options. I'm a native, so like we don't trust doctors. So we have our own healthcare system because, we don't get treated by doctors here. Like they don't treat us. They literally find the first way to kick us out and lie to us and pretend like everything's something different and just get us out of there as fast as possible. So we have our own methods, and so like there's like tons of things that they could have offered that offered no real risk. There's no like waiver that needs to be signed for telling people to drink hot liquids, for example. Like it's the virus is protected by a sugary fat layer. It melts in heat. So it's weak to heat, it's weak to alcohol, the sugar and fatty layers, glycoprotein layer.
Yeah.
It's weak to heat. So like just drinking hot liquids
Yeah.
is going to help you. And there was no advice. And I went through, I called telehealth, I exhausted all the services, and I'm like, so would you not appreciate a list of options that you would give to customer, like to people calling telehealth?
Yeah.
Like if there was a list of things, would you appreciate it? And she's like, oh yes, I would, but we're not allowed to tell anyone anything. We just have to say that, you know, if you stay home, and if you start to die, basically, if you can't breathe, go to the hospital where there's not enough lifeboats.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, that's great. So that where they can play God and decide whether or not I get to live. You know, and I mean, like, you know, and there, by the time the first year was over, all the people that were going to die are already dead. You know, we lost so many people waiting for this vaccine, and it was just a big Ponzi scheme. It was a big, like, let's capitalize off our suffering.
I know.
You know, and I know it was a bad disease, it was a bad virus, I don't doubt that, but hey, how they capitalized off of our suffering and how they managed it was downright criminal. So I sued them for that. And I sued them for nuisance, just nuisance. I said, I'm pretty sure we can all agree on nuisance. So nuisance across the entire Commonwealth was about 1 billion people. I was like, it was like $400 quadrillion. And stopped it real quick. And just like, boom, it's over.
Well then.
Yeah.
That's one way to stop it.
Yeah, so trust me, I'm here now, and like this, if you're gonna watch the whole shit shebang, you know, once I start getting into this, I start showing them what their statements mean, what, you know, throwing it back at them like I have with you. The way I did everything, the way I did the student loan department, the way I've done everything, really. I've changed a lot, don't get me wrong. So I mean, it's just not my land back.
No, I know.
You know, and it's not
small steps to
the goal. But hey, no, well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure, like,
or big steps.
It's pretty big steps.
Yeah, pretty big steps.
I mean,
but okay. So do you have time to wait? I'm gonna get on this.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'll do all this, and then I'll see about getting you a check as well. Okay.
That'd be great.
Okay, I'll be back.
Thank you so much.